Hello, welcome back to 3D Drawing for Mod Railways. We're going to continue today's lesson on the RM74, looking at the roof over the cab section here. I want to try and get lots of bits of superstructure done before going into the detailing parts of it. So this is a nice picture to look at side on. We can see how we've got different steps here. So we've got one step that comes along at an angle, then another one, and then a flat piece across the top. You can see this one also shows you how the angles are made up. So we've got like 1, 2, 3. Okay. Some of them do have a flat piece on the end here, but these first part go up to a peak. So we've got a nice photo that gives us an idea of what we're looking for here. So we've got 3 different steps, which, as I said on the introduction to this, it doesn't really show particularly well on this diagram. And it also doesn't show either particularly well on the photos that look end on, that the peak is a peak in the middle on the front section. That picture is not the greatest of showing that, but you can certainly see behind here we've got a peak. So that's what we're looking at drawing today. So again, we're going to be using new component, doing a roof. I'm going to name it cab roof, and that should create this new component down the bottom here. Now we may need us to do some bits and pieces with regards to this to get the cab to fit over the top. But we'll see how we go. So get the roof to fit over the top of the cab. We'll see how we go when we start to draw it. So what I think I'm going to do really is let's start by drawing on this plane. We'll use that to draw off of. So we're going to start with line, find that midpoint, come up, and I'm just going to draw a line down and turn this into a construction line. Okay, so we're going to then start to come down. I'm sort of looking for where the peaks look roughly on the diagram. Again, that 3-part shape. Now, as I said, we haven't got greatest pictures or diagrams to show the length and angles on these, so we're just sort of going to wing it a little bit. Definitely 1, 2, 3 peaks. There's a cutout in the middle here, which we can deal with in a minute. But I would say that's probably going to look okay. So what do I need to do now? I need to give this some thickness. So I'm going to create an offset line. It's coming with, which is fine. Let's go for 0.7 thick. And we're going to just try and draw some lines to merge these up. So this line vertically is coming down the construction line to close that ending. This end I want to close across horizontally that point. I'm not worried about this bit. We can cut that bit off the end there. Like that. And we can cut that bit off the end there. This warning is because it was an offset line. Okay, so you can see how we've got the shape there, which is fine. What I want to try and do now is I'm going to cut this bit off of the body internally so we can rest on it, and the same here. So we'll create a thickness here, so we'll select that profile and this profile here. I'm going to extrude this forwards. Let's rotate this around. It's going to come just beyond the cab at that end. Let's do two-sided. I'm going to drag this end inwards. So the roof profile, we don't actually know how far, looking at these diagrams, how far back to bring it. We do have it on here though, which is useful, so we can drag it back. Yeah, 46.5 backwards, 10 forwards. It gives us a rough outline. Creating a new body so it's not joined into anything. Okay, so that's cut in there, but I don't want that. So let's go back into this edit sketch. Edit the extrusion. We need to pick up that part there as well. so we've got that. Now what I'm going to do is going to take this bit off of the main cab here. So we're going to come back into the cab, select that to work on, create a sketch on this inside profile. I'm going to project that line and that line onto it. Okay, on project there. And if I turn the cab roof off, we can select these two parts, and then we can extrude these, cutting them off so the roof will fit and sit nicely on the top there. Okay, come back to the cab roof, turn it back on. You should be able to see how this is now sitting on top of the cab roof. We could project that in there. Let's do that. Sketch there. No, we don't want to stretch. There we go. Actually, we want to select the profile in there. So come back to sketch 12. Turn that on so we can see it. And then we can extrude this part. Let's turn the cab roof off so it's not visible. I want that to come across to a little bit like that. And then awkwardly we've got to take an extrusion off of that part there. Upwards to cut that off. And then so here. Probably the messiest way to do this. No, I'm not. Let's undo that. Let's do that, and then we can just fill it in. We can do a loft from that profile to that profile. It's not perfect, but it's clean enough, I think. We could actually, with that loft, we edit it and add a rail in. Use that as a rail. Doesn't like that. Okay, we'll just go with that. It's going to be hidden under the roof anyhow. It's just more covering the hole up so it's not visible. Yeah, that's fine. So we've got the basic roof profile there. The next thing we need to do is probably going to want to fill this in actually and then cut off. Jump back to the cab roof. Okay, so let's create a sketch on that profile. We've already got this all drawn on, so we'll just project that line and that line there. And we should just be able to fill this in. That line as well. That's filled in. And we can extrude that level with the front there. Okay, cool. So set the body for the cab and the roof. Good. So now what we can do is cut off the angle part here. I wonder whether maybe that's a bit high. This. So what I'm looking at is just the difference in height here, whether I want to reduce that. End on, it looks about right. Find that end. No, I'm going to leave it as it's at the moment. Let's just draw a diagonal line from there coming up to the mat at the top. It's going to be a bit narrow here. Deal with that in a minute though. Cut that extrusion off. Gives us the sloped roof at the front. Turn the sketch off and these off so you can actually see what we're looking at. I wonder about the front here. This doesn't look right to me. That's going to end halfway up that window. Yeah, that needs more angle on there. Let's edit that sketch. I'm going to bring this line back. Trying to work out so the angle that that front slope goes up, where the top of the peak is. See, on this one, it looks like the peak comes halfway along this back window. Which doesn't match the drawing, but we all know the drawings aren't necessarily always correct. Go with about that angle. Okay, so I'm going to go with that, I think. And we know that it's got this cape at the top, vent at the top, so we'll draw that on in a bit. Looking at this picture here and some of the other ones, looking back at the wall, there's a definite flat section on the top here. And that is on this plan, so we can draw that onto the inside surface and just cut that out from the inside. So we'll spin this round, draw on the inside surface of the roof here, and then draw a rectangle that fills that gap basically. So we can define distance there, 4.8, and the length 12.5, just rounding it up for ease. And then if we just extrude that across, we then got that flat cutout section. Fortunately, we've got no photos that look down onto the unit from the top, looking onto the roof, unfortunately. But yeah, it's definite cutout on there, giving that peak appearance. Okay, so we'll go with that. Obviously, we can come back and we can change that if we need to. Let's turn those off. It's giving us the basic shape of the roof there. There is some cutouts to do on these sides though. See, after the cab it scoops up at an angle just about there. So it's about this point here. Is it on the yes, it is on the diagram, which makes life so much easier. We'll draw a sketch, needs to be on the profile that hangs from Dawson. So what we'll do is create an offset plane from the side of the cab and just bring it out slightly so we going to cut back into the model. We'll draw on that side profile. And we want a line. Okay, let's project the lines first. So we'll project that one, and that one, and that one. So just projecting those three lines there. And we can draw this line coming up. It doesn't go all the way up into this one. You can see that on the picture there, you can see the step line slightly below it. It comes back to that point and then slopes up to that point on the rear of the roof there. Okay, so let's define these points. So positions there to there. So 18.6. Define the angle. I'll let it define itself as 36.9. Define that angle. It's already constrained, so we just need to define between those 2 points. And then we define this angle here. And then pick its own number because we've constrained to positions. And then we can extrude this back into, we want to turn the cab off so that we're not cutting into the cab. We can just extrude that back in. Turn that off so we can see what we're looking at. Okay, cab back on. Okay, that's looking alright. Okay, so what I think would obviously make this look better is if we have the front vent cape put on. So that's quite a distinctive feature. So for that, I'm going to use this construction plane here. Create a construction plane. Sorry, create a drawing on that construction plane there, which was the one we used to draw the front window on the cab. And we're just going to draw. We're going to project first of all that line, that line, that line. Might as well do the whole roof line outline really. And looking at this picture, you can see how it doesn't quite match up with the roof in all angles. So I'm just going to create sort of a horizontal piece that comes across, and then it comes diagonally down, probably pretty close to where the second part is. Down to about there. Oh, that looks way too low. I don't know actually, because it comes back up at an angle. I might go with that actually. Let's just drag this around a little bit. It goes pretty much to the edge. Yeah, I'm going to stick it to the edge. Oh, yeah, maybe the midpoint now actually. It's not too far off. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. And we can offset that line inwards. I'm going to go 0.5 millimeters, and we can draw these lines on here. So that should be 90 degrees there. Okay, I'm going to draw this one across 90 degrees, and then I'm going to extrude this forwards, backwards, into the model roof, telling it to be a drawing. Then we're going to reduce this front surface back down. Okay, so we've got a side-on picture. Positions, yeah, probably that one we're looking at the front here. The side-on picture, this one doesn't really show it either, unfortunately. That picture doesn't show it, unfortunately. So yeah, let's rotate it around. I'm going to go that position there. draw on the side profile here. We know that it comes, we want to project actually all of these points lines for this lot here. Position and that one. Just projecting all these on there, and then we know this comes back at an angle like that. And we'll draw a line down this one all the way down, come back into the roof and back up. That line draw there. So now we've got that profile there, which isn't attached to the roof, but we can extrude this back along the roof. It will cut the angle off of this part here, but not affect the roof there. If we mirror this body over just so that we can see what it looks like, the roof, and mirror plane that across the midpoint, and we'll do the cab as well. Inside face. Obviously with all the detail missing, it doesn't look great matching wise, but I don't think that's a million miles off personally. Get these two side by side. Try and rotate this around a little bit to be similar angles. There we go. And obviously we've got details to add in, but I think we're not looking too far off there, I don't think. I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm going to go with that. But the one thing that I'm thinking may need a little bit changing is this little slope here. This slope we've got a little, looks like it's a little bit more sloping downwards, whereas this is a little more horizontal. So we can go back and change that in the cab. So we just have the cab selected. We've got to find the sketch for the profile. And then at that point we can just drag it up a little bit more. Cool. What we didn't, or I just noticed I didn't define any of this, so we can put those in. Angles. Just for neatness there. Okay, so yeah, I think that's coming along quite nicely. I'm going to end the episode there, and I've got the roof done to that point. We will need more of this roof further down, but we can draw that on a different part here. So pretty happy with where we've got to on that. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that, and you can follow along. If you get any questions, please leave a comment. Please also like and subscribe to the videos for keeping up with this series. Thanks for watching.